What's happening? And beautiful blessings to you, wonderful souls. Jared Cash here today with the Crypto Bliss Show. I hope you are all here and excited and ready to take on the day in crypto. And the market is going wild, it's going crazy. I'm going to be talking about Bitcoin, and I'm going to show you a little video today that Altcoin Daily shared and posted last night. That had to do with Senator Warren and Jerome Powell, based on Jerome Powell speaking to the what's the word there? Council, to the council. Just excuse me for that moment. Okay, so yeah, guys, today I'm super excited. Of course, you can see the channel's nearly on 400 subscribers, so congratulations to all of you. You are all part of this journey with me, and you are phenomenal. And the very reason that this channel is becoming bigger and bigger every day is to you guys. So thank you to you all. I really appreciate that very, very, very much today. Today I'm wearing my Crypto University t-shirt, and I am ready to get full out crypto with you guys today. Right now I'm going to be speaking about Bitcoin and the dollar and the S&P, and just speak a little bit about what's happening there. And of course, if you guys want to be trading long or short, you guys know that I have a bybit link down below that you can get yourself in to some awesome trades and make yourself some good cash. It's the bybit bonus is worth $30,000, so do not miss that opportunity. But of course, please only take that opportunity if you are confident in trading and you know how to trade. This video is not financial advice. I'm just here sharing with you my opinions and views of the market, and in certain instances to things that I'm doing. So as a quick one here, I've already mentioned a couple pre-sale tokens. What you'll have to do is you'll watch the video, and wherever it is that you're buying the using BNB on Pink Sale to buy that specific pre-sale token, when the token is finished its sale, it takes about a day or two after the sale's ended, and you can go to the exact same spot and you can go and click claim, and just make sure that you scroll a little bit down and search for the token address, copy the token address, and then go and paste it up in your MetaMask wallet. Okay, that's how you're going to trade or get the token. I've just claimed the 3 out of the 4 the pre-sale projects that I've invested into. The claim, I'll be very honest with you guys, the claims that I got allocated for the amount of BNB when I invested in those specific projects at low points isn't the same, so I will be querying that with Pink Sale on how that works. So if any of you know how that works, please let me know down below, because this is the first time I'm actually getting into these pre-sale projects. And you can see here, these are the 4-5 pre-sale projects that I've spoken about recently. This one is the last one that I'm currently in at the moment. This one cancelled, but it's relaunching, so on the pre-sale platform. Not sure why it ends up like that, but I don't want to waste any more of the time. Let's go and quickly have a squiz at the dollar and see what the dollar is doing. Now you can see the dollar on the 1 hour is gone absolutely hyper parabolic straight up to the moon. But you can see now there's a sell signal here, confirmation, because we're under this indicator here, the moving average indicator, and we're under this indicator here. So it's definitely going to be coming back down. To which point, I'm not sure, but it would make the most amount of sense somewhere down here, at the very most somewhere down here. So there will be at least a 50 to 70% retracement of this move, so that will at the maximum bring it somewhere to around here, unless it actually falls and collapses below and beyond that. Now on the daily time frame, you guys can see what's happened to the dollar. It's actually broken out of the trend, and yesterday was a confirmation of a buy. So maybe and perhaps we haven't finished yet this retracement, because essentially we have to retrace between 50 and 75% of this move, which would kind of bring us back up to around this level up here, which is about the 110 level on the dollar, which I have previously spoken to you guys about. Yeah, I mean, you can see the signals here, so let's just be patient and wait and see what happens with the dollar. But because the dollar has been pushing up, that's showing us that other assets will be falling down. So quickly, the S&P had a major sell-off yesterday. Closed that gap, closed this gap, which is great. that it closed gaps, but as you can see, that was a heavy sell indication. Now, I just want to point something out to you guys in this moment, that yesterday's candle, 2 days ago candle, was a signal to get out of the S&P because we were going to have a pullback. And you can see here when this flipped, when we're under the indicator, it's telling us to sell, and guess what? Boom, sell. Okay, so boom, sell, because we've been rejected off the indicator and we're confirming. So this candle was a buy. Obviously, I mean, you can see why it was a buy, because it was quite a volumetric candle, and then we fell down at this point here. So on the S&P 500, if we continue to come down, I mean, you guys can see right now that we are pretty much at that level there. So if we get any further than that, then we will perhaps see a little bit more downside in the market. And as you can see there, that's more or less the channel that we're in. So we're also in a channel in the S&P 500. But if we go here and we look at this, we have actually been in a down sloping channel. Boom. In fact, let's bring this all the way down so that we can actually see, if it does break through, what that will look like for us, because essentially just let me do this nicely for you guys. Yeah, in fact, let's pull this up to there, because that'll give us, yeah. Okay, so check out that pattern there, guys. So in fact, let's go on the weekly, so you can see it a little bit more clearly on this time frame, that this is currently what's happening. So we broke out of the downtrend, but we met with resistance on the new bullish uptrend, and we have not really been making it higher up. So perhaps we have a retest of this channel here, which is great. And if we fail and break through the channel, then guys, I'm gonna tell you, and I'm gonna say to you, that I expect the S&P price to come down to this level here, which is at the bottom of this channel. So it will bring us back into the channel and create a new lower low, and this essentially would have created another lower high. So yes, this high was essentially lower than that one, and this one is broken above that one, so it's a higher high. But this is short time frame, whereas the overall long time frame is still a bearish trend. So that's the S&P. Let's go and see the Bitcoin, because actually Bitcoin broke through our channel yesterday, guys. Not only did it break through, I mean, I was watching this candle break through here, this specific candle break through last night, pushed down and retested the zone, sell confirmation 4 hours ago, under my two indicators, under the trend line. As I said to you, the minimum we're going to be testing is this level. If we get a rebound from this level back up, that will be great. At this point, I'm going to say to you, we'd probably like to take a short again at that point on Bitcoin. And I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to say that because as you can see there, we have had an indication of sell pressure at this point, and a confirmation is starting to appear here, which would convert the ribbon into red. And the moment this indicator crosses that ribbon, we are going to see a further downward trend in the Bitcoin price. So obviously what the Fed said yesterday was pretty crazy, so I'm going to go and show you what happened in the meeting yesterday. And guys, I'm just going to very simply show you. Look at this. This is a rollover pattern. Okay, this is a rollover pattern. So now we've so yesterday's candle didn't close below, although today's candle we're under, and we've created a new lower low. So if we, for whatever reason, wick down and pull back up immediately and back into the space, then we're still in the safe zone. But if we don't, and we retest this and we pull back down, and then we come and retest this line and perhaps even smash through this line, this is your target. I drew this target for you yesterday. Your target is all the way down here at 17,000, 18,000. And even all the way down to about 17,000. So between 17 and 18,000, that will be your Bitcoin indication of price. Now, guys, before that level, it's very likely we'll make a stop somewhere here between the 19.5 and 20,000 level. At this point, it'll pull down, probably end up, so let's just draw this for you. It'll probably pull down and then probably end up retesting this zone, and then perhaps further downward momentum to that zone, which would then bring us, which would probably be some support for us and pull back up. Now this is the danger zone, guys, because if we're at this level and we end up breaking this zone here, the likelihood of us coming further down and actually coming down to the 9,900 level that I spoke about, which would put us almost back inside the wedge, but we're out of the wedge, so it doesn't make sense. That would tell us that we would then, of course, be coming further down on the Bitcoin price chart. Now, let's go over quickly and have a look at the video from Altcoin Daily channel, and let's go and see this video from Senator Jerome, is his testimony. So give me a second.
You don't have a plan to stop a runaway train if it occurs. Chair Powell, you are gambling with people's lives.
Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell testified in front of Congress today. It was well over 2 hours long, and there was this one moment, this wild exchange between Senator Elizabeth Warren and Powell as she rips Powell over job-killing rate hikes. And just understand that in Jerome Powell's opening remarks today, he was still pretty aggressive on what the future holds for rate hikes.
Although inflation has been moderating in recent months, the process of getting inflation back down to 2% has a long way to go and is likely to be bumpy. As I mentioned, the latest economic data have come in stronger than expected, which suggests that the ultimate level of interest rates is likely to be higher than previously anticipated.
So even though the Federal Reserve has already been ultra aggressive this last year, we've never been pushed this aggressively in history. Jerome says inflation is not over, so the Federal Reserve is not done. Now, if you're invested in stocks, this affects you, as well as if you're invested in crypto, this affects you. Both markets dumped on the news.
Let me ask you about what happens if you do this. Since the end of World War II, there have been 12 times
Senator Elizabeth Warren exploded on Jerome Powell, not because of the stock market or the Bitcoin price, but because of how the Fed's actions are affecting the labor market, unemployment in America.
So the Fed has raised interest rates 8 times over the last year in what has been the most extreme rate hike cycle in 40 years. The Fed's goal is to slow inflation, and your tool, raising interest rates, is designed to slow the economy and throw people out of work. So far, you haven't tipped the economy into recession, but you haven't brought inflation entirely under control either. And maybe the reason for that is that other things are also keeping prices high, things you can't fix with high interest rates, things like price gouging and supply chain kinks and a war in Ukraine. But you are determined to continue to raise interest rates, so I want to take a look at where you're headed. In December, the Fed released its projections on the state of the economy under your monetary policy plan. According to the Fed's own report, if you continue raising interest rates as you plan, unemployment will be 4.6% by the end of the year, more than a full point higher than it is today. Chair Powell, if you hit your projections, do you know how many people who are currently working, going about their lives, will lose their jobs?
I don't have that number in front of me. I will say it's not an intended consequence.
But it is, and it's in your report, and that would be about 2 million people who would lose their jobs, people who are working right now, making their mortgages. So, Chair Powell, if you could speak directly to the 2 million hardworking people who have decent jobs today, who you're planning to get fired over the next year, what would you say to them? How would you explain your view that they need to lose their jobs?
I would explain to people more broadly that inflation is extremely high and it's hurting the working people of this country badly. All of them, not just 2 million of them, but all of them are suffering under high inflation, and we are taking the only measures we have to bring inflation down.
And putting 2 million people out of work is just part of the cost, and they just have to bear it?
Well, will working people be better off if we just walk away from our jobs and inflation remains 5-6%?
Let me ask you about what happens if you do this. Since the end of World War II, There have been 12 times in which the unemployment rate has increased by 1 percentage point within 1 year, exactly what you're aiming to do right now. How many of those times did the U.S. economy avoid falling into a recession?
You know, it's not as black and white as very
Just
very
looking at the numbers, it actually is pretty black
Alan
and white.
Blinder's written a book on this, and
There have been 12 times that we've seen a 1 point increase in the unemployment rate in a year. That's exactly what your Fed report has put out as the projection and the plan based on how you're going to keep raising these interest rates. How many times did the economy fail to fall into a recession after doing that? Out of 12 times.
I think the number is 0.
I think the number is 0. That's exactly right. So then the question becomes, we've got 2 million people out of work. Can you stop it at 2 million people? History suggests that the Fed has a terrible track record of containing modest increases in the unemployment rate. Once the economy starts shedding jobs, it's kind of like a runaway train. It is really hard to stop. In fact, in 11 out of the 12 times that the unemployment rate increased by a full percentage point within 1 year, unemployment went on to rise another full percentage point on top of that. If that's what happens this time, we'd be looking at least 3.5 million people who would lose their jobs. So, Chair Powell, if you reach your goal and 2 million people get laid off by the end of this year, and then, just like in 11 out of 12 times that unemployment has risen by a point in a single year, it keeps on rising. And then we've got 2.5 million people out of work. We've got 3 million people who get laid off. We've got 3.5 million people who get laid off. What's your plan?
Well, right now the unemployment rate is 3.4%, which is the lowest in 54 years. And we actually don't think that we need to see a sharp or enormous increase in unemployment to get inflation under control.
I'm looking at your projections. Do you call laying off 2 million people this year not a sharp increase in unemployment?
I would say 4.5%.
Explain that to the 2 million families who are going to be out of work.
We're not targeting any of that. But I would say even 4.5% unemployment is well better than most of the time for the last 75 years.
In other words, you don't have a plan to stop a runaway train if it occurs. Chair Powell, you are gambling with people's lives, and there's a pile of data showing that price gouging and supply chain kinks and the war in Ukraine are driving up prices. You cling to the idea that there's only one solution: lay off millions of workers. We need a Fed that will fight for families, and if you're not going to lead that charge, we need someone at the Fed who will.
Wow. Now, I'm not a fan of Senator Warren because she's very anti-crypto, but that was an absolutely mind-blowing congressional Jerome Powell for not doing his job. We all know that the Fed is actually a privately owned institution that runs and controls our interest rates. For whatever reason, there's a private institution controlling governmental and economic rates. Who knows why that is. I mean, we all know, but at the end of the day, more and more of this information will be continually exposed to you and people, and we will all become more aware of the scam that actually Congress and the Fed are. So look, I hear Senator Warren. I think she's trying to help people continue to keep their jobs, which is great. And I hear both sides of the argument, but at the end of the day, the work that Jerome Powell has done has literally kept the unemployment rate at the lowest it's been in 54 years. So congratulations to Jerome Powell. I think that's pretty much the only thumbs up we can give him. Although I agree with Senator Warren that just by raising interest rates, trying to squash this in massive inflationary environment, guys, this specific debate is actually telling us that something is looming and something big is coming in this market, and we are not to take it lightheartedly, because at the end of the day, there is the likelihood of a massive economic, a dramatic effect that is about to come. onto us because of both sides of these arguments, and I agree with them. So thanks for watching. Please, if you like this video, and thanks for Altcoin Daily for finding this and cutting the section and editing the section. It was really cool, so appreciate that. Much love and light to you, Altcoin Daily, and much love and light to my beautiful Crypto Bliss community. Thanks for watching this video on the 20-minute video. I know it was a bit longer, but it was well worth it for you guys to watch. So thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one. Stay blessed and stay tuned.